Hey, Damian. I guess just for you, what have you kind of seen when you've been out there with the bench unit? It feels like ball moves around quite a bit. You guys are able to get some open threes. So I'm just curious with you and the bench, kind of what you saw from the bench tonight and kind of how that's worked out for you.
I think they just responded really well, coming off last night. And I think everybody understood that, when we don't move the ball and, create opportunities for each other, our offense can struggle. And we can be taken advantage of, because a lot of times when you don't get quality looks and the ball's not moving, you're not creating that offensive energy that you need to execute well in this league. And we saw it last night. It ended up hurting us on the defensive end because a lot of times we getting bad shots, we missing, teams catching us off balance on the defensive end, getting downhill, we kind of scramble situations. So I think that's the beauty of having a veteran team, guys who've been around and understand how you become a successful team. And tonight we played like we knew that. The ball moved around. We made the extra passes. We cut with some purpose, like we was going to get the ball. Our spacing was much better. We just did a lot of things to give our execution a chance, and I think it showed.
Frankly, I've been a little bit surprised to see how much you are off ball. I'm curious, what has the decision process been like for that? And then also just kind of how have you liked it?
I mean, I think as the season goes on, we'll kind of find our space of what things will look like when we at our best. But it's a process. It's a filling out process, and we know that it's trial and error. We see what's gonna work, what's not gonna work, who's comfortable doing what. How we gonna find that balance with each other. And Chris is used to getting the ball and pushing it and handling as a playmaker and a scorer. Giannis is used to getting it and having the ball in his hands, and so am I. So a lot of times, because I know I shoot the ball well, I know the teams are going to, stay close to me. When I see them do what's natural to them, the ball goes out of bounds, and they get the ball. I just fill the lane, and try to play off of that and try to find a way to be effective off the ball as well, because I know that there's going to be times where that's the case, and I still got to be able to be effective and play off of that. So I think as the season goes on, it'll find its way. It'll balance out, and, it'll be fine. But it's not something I like having the luxury of two other guys being able to get the ball, and we can get something positive out of that possession.
Hey, Damian, you mentioned Chris there briefly. So in his 33 minutes, y'all are plus 24. If you're into plus minus when someone's on the court, I know it's just a little bit. I mean, he's almost 10 assists in those minutes. What have you seen from him? And then I guess that group when you all are all together.
I mean, we better with him. I think that's the best way to put it. We're a much better team when he's on the floor because of the threat that he is, obviously. But I would say the number one thing that I've noticed is just how smart of a player he is. Even defensively positional, he just understands what's happening. He can see the plays before they actually happen, so he knows how to position himself and not have to work as hard. Offensively, he can see the play really well. I think in such a short time, I can honestly say that it's been few players that I've played with where it's like I have the kind of trust in his ability to see the game. It's impressive. You see why he's been so successful in the league because he just understands it on both ends of the floor. So I think when you have another guy out there like that, our team is going to be much better, and I can feel that in just 3 games.
Hey, Dame. Bucks fans are no strangers to the energy that Bobby Portis brings off the bench. But just for you, what's it like playing with a guy like that who brings that intensity and can just bring a crowd alive with a simple flex of his muscles?
Yeah, it's fun. I think he comes in and he does what he does. And I think a lot of times around this league you have the stars, you have the guys that everybody, looks at, and then you have those guys who are the fan favorites, because they come, they do their job. The toughness, the confidence, the energy that they bring, it can be infectious and it can change a team. So I saw it from afar, but being on the team, you even see it from him in practice. So it's not like we just get in front of a crowd and then he turns it on like that. He's like that in practice, anytime it gets competitive. So having a guy that can impact the game like that off the bench, ability-wise, but also with his energy is it's impressive, and I'm happy to be a part of that.
I know you had said last night that there wasn't necessarily any extra motivation or anything for this game because of all the off-season stuff, but just how did it feel out there once you did get on the floor against those guys?
It felt like every other time I played against them. It was really nothing. Obviously we all knew that it was a thing this summer, but like I said last night, nothing came of it. So it really was no extra energy towards that, I don't think on either side.
I believe the way you phrased it tonight was, still figuring it out, as in this team still figuring things out. Yeah. Coach Griff, he speaks similarly, and he speaks very transparently about, hey, I'm still learning too. I'm curious how much you appreciate that transparency, and then going off of that, how much you appreciate having a former player as a coach.
I think anytime you have a former player as a coach, you automatically are one with them. They understand our day-to-day. They understand our lives. They understand, what goes into this game, what goes into being successful. They know what can cause problems. So they automatically know because they've been in our shoes. I think that's a positive. But I'm a person that appreciates transparency to the max because I think that's the best way to get to the bottom of things. That's the best way to be together. When you know who you're dealing with, what they think, how they feeling. It's no pretending. They just say it. And I'm the same way. And I think that's the best way to function anytime you're in a family or you're a part of a team. I think when you have that at the top, you got a chance to be successful.
Damian, you talked the other day about when you used to come to the Portland Arena, you knew everybody in there, all the little intangibles that kind of help you do what you're doing. Where are you on the continuum of fitting that stuff into your transition here in Milwaukee, all the little things that put you over the edge?
I think when I came into the league and when I first got to Portland, it wasn't something that I came in and said, I need to know everybody by name and I need to do all of these things. It was just over time, it just happened, So it wasn't something that I put a lot of energy into or any concern into. I know myself, I interact, I speak to people, I keep it normal. So I think over time, it'll happen the same. So it's not something that I'm focused on or nothing like that. Every day that I'm here, each game that goes by, I just get more and more comfortable. So I think it'll naturally happen.
Looking ahead, the Leagues Inseason Tournament is coming up on Friday, starting with game against the Knicks. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like it'll bring any extra motivation? And do you feel like your team will have that same kind of energy?
It's the first one, so I don't really know how people are going to approach it. I think because we got the first one so early in the season, everybody's excited to continue to grow and to continue to play games. So pretty sure our energy will be high. It's a home game, and I'm not sure how people are going to respond to it because it's a tournament game. I did learn that it's a prize for the champion, individually. And I also learned that our two-way players get that prize as well, So I think as somebody who's built relationships with a lot of those guys over the course of my career, I would love to not only be able to win it, but also to be able to say, look, we looked out for our guys. So I guess I'm excited about the opportunity to do that. But I don't know how many guys are going to be like, all right, this is a tournament game. We got to do this. We got to do that. But we'll see.
I know everyone in the league can score and do all of that, but I'm curious, late in the game, how frustrated were you by kind of your execution to close that one out?
I think anytime you get in those types of situations, we had a turnover and we got a 5-second call, and and you have these moments where it's the opposite thing happens, as from what you want to be happening. It's pretty easy to be like, man, we need to be better at this, we need to be better at that. But I think this early in the season, we haven't we haven't been in those situations specifically. You know, I think the first game of the season, it was a back and forth game. You know, the urgency wasn't the same. Tonight, you get a team that, you know, they trying to claw back. They playing with all this urgency. They running all over the place. They denying. It was just different, you know. So I think the one takeaway is we got to be able to look at those moments and just calm ourselves down, you know, give each other outlets and just count on our experience. You know, this is not none of our first time being in that situation, and we just got to be sharper. But like I said, it's just early in the season. You know, it takes time to just click at those types of things. But I don't think it's anything that we'll have trouble with consistently.